I want to turn and talk about the shooters. And again, there were two incidents. I know probably everyone listening already knows about them. One was an incident in my home state of Texas, in a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, and the other was on a street in Dayton, Ohio. The Walmart shooter in El Paso, Texas, Patrick Crusius, was actually a native of an area near Dallas, where I live. And so he was a little north of Dallas, but in that general area. And he put online a very, very lengthy diatribe. He basically published a long thing saying, this is what I'm about to do and why I'm going to do it and blah, blah, blah. Among the things that he put in his irrational diatribe, and by the way, the number of people who died as a result of his shooting as of this morning, up to 22 and also 26 injured. But this guy, who was a Texas guy, grew up and went to a public high school near us, attacked a variety of things, some from sounding like more like a conservative, and he was, or a kind of Republican issues, and some like Democrat issues. I just want to say one note of caution before I dive into what the shooter said. It does very little good to analyze the rantings of a lunatic. This guy is a lunatic. I hope he gets a death penalty. He should get the death penalty, and I'm going to guess he will. But it does very little good to analyze who's to blame. What did he believe in that maybe we could fix in the future? Trying to create rational policy out of the rantings of an insane person is not wise. I only want to discuss the content of what the shooter said to make clear how extraordinarily dishonest it is of the Democratic presidential candidates, of others on the American left, to blame Trump or Fox News or Republicans for this man's actions. This man is a lunatic, and he did have things both sides of the aisle, if you want to call it that, in his ranting. He had a long blather about the environment and how people are destroying the environment, and that the world would be better off. The world would be more sustainable. His words. The decimation of the environment is creating a massive burden for future generations. We're shamelessly over-harvesting our resources. If we can get rid of enough people, then our way of life can become more sustainable. Sounds pretty left-wing to me. He did have things in there about too many Hispanics in America, the Hispanic invasion. And so he just, it's rantings of a lunatic. But I wanted to be sure to point out that what he's talking about here, it on the one hand, give any credence to. On the other hand, if you are going to be an honest critic, as the Democrats are trying to do, they're trying to lay blame at the feet of Fox News, Republicans, President Trump for this shooter's conduct. There is no basis in reality or rationality to do that. The shooter ranted about Hispanics. He was against free health care for illegals. He's against open borders. He is a radical environmentalist. I mean, just an extreme environmentalist. And I'm not sure whether it's he or the other one who used the term AOC has been using about not keeping children in concentration camps. And he also denounces urban sprawl, another left-wing view. He wants very much to control where people can live and doesn't like urban sprawl, doesn't like he wants all these acres of land never to be developed and people be able to live there. So he's just a complete lunatic. But the point of raising, and again, this one I'm speaking about is Patrick Crusius, the Walmart shooter at El Paso. But his diatribe online, which you can read if you go to our website, americacanwetalk.org, and under the shows homepage, go down, list of links. You can read it if you want to. But it's really important to understand that he did not follow any right-wing or left-wing viewpoint. He's a lunatic, but plenty of things he said could be if you're trying to point a finger of blame, you could blame the left. The second shooter, the Dayton shooter, the guy who shot up a neighborhood in Dayton, Ohio, Connor Betts, he actually ended up killing his own sister. He killed 9 people, also injured 26. His Twitter homepage, Connor Betts, shooter in Dayton, Ohio. His homepage describes him on Twitter. He chooses his pronouns, he, him, metalhead, leftist, calls himself a leftist. I'm going to hell, I'm not coming back. On the Twitter account, he promoted Antifa. He retweeted Antifa. He promoted the Democrat Socialists of America. He announced himself a supporter of Elizabeth Warren. He's the one who mentioned concentration camps made popular by AOC. He said he supported the Antifa terrorist who was in Tacoma, Washington, in like the middle of July, I think it was, throwing weapons and throwing incendiary things into an ICE facility in Tacoma, where the police actually ended up killing this terrorist. He supported that Antifa terrorist as a, in his words, martyr. He said he would happily vote for Democrat Elizabeth Warren. He sent a tweet out saying, "I want socialism, and I'll not wait for the idiots to finally come around to understanding." So it goes on and on. You can find countless examples of his willingness on social media to praise left-wing views. So the idea that somehow we're going to point these two incidents and point clear, specific political blame at somebody is absurd and dishonest, and especially absurd and dishonest because it is not. I have not seen yet either the Republican side efforts to point fingers at the Democrats and saying, "Oh, this is all your fault." But the Democrat presidential candidates have leaned into this story and decided this is their issue. This is their way. They're going to get the stories. They're going to find blame to lay at the feet of President Trump.